Okay, we're up to Berachos Daf Ches. We're going to begin at the bottom of the Zion Amid Beis. Right, 3 lines from the bottom. We're learning in this chus refush name of Chaim Elazar ben Rachel Leah and Sorotova bas Chaya Liba. Omer Rabbi Yitzchak Rav Nachman. My time Eliasi Marla Bei Knishta. Yes. Rabbi Yitzchak Rav Nachman. How can we come to the base medrash? Let's luye to daven. Some Rav Nachman told them, "Lo yechilna, I couldn't." So it said Rabbi Yitzchak to Rav Nachman, "L'kanfei l'mara sorov." You should have gathered 10 people together in daven. Amalei. So Rav Nachman told him, "Shrichli mos, it was too hard." V'lei malei mar l'shlucha the tzibura beidnid the matzlei tzibura leisi v'ladai. So Rabbi Yitzchak told Rav Nachman, "You should have told the shliach tzibur before he's davening. He should have told you when he's davening, so then you could daven at the same time. You should be able to daven at the same time that the tzibur davens." Amalei, my kule high said Nachman, what's that? Why do I have to do so much? So Amalei, so Rabbi Yitzchak told him, "Don't Rabbi Yochanan mishum b'yochaya chesam and aleph my dichsiv ani tzfilasi lecha Hashem eis ratzayin emasai eis ratzayin." When it's an eis ratzayin, I mean that's it's man tefillah. That's b'shosh atziv mispalim, and it says vani tzfilasi lashon of yachid. So therefore, you can go ahead and daven at the time the yachid should daven at the time of the tzibur. Still remember when there was COVID. During that pandemic of 2020, right? And people were alone in their houses, so they were saying if you daven v'sikin, everyone should daven v'sikin, like daven v'sikin in your house. You're davening one at the time where people are davening. He brings the pasuk that a yachid should daven at the time of the tzibur. In the time of Eis Ratzayin, the time of the tzibur davens, in Yisicha, I will answer you. In Yisicha is lashon of you is lashon of yachid b'yichidus. He brings the pasuk. Hein kel kabev layimas. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't go ahead and despise the multitude. Ukasiv padar b'shalom nafshi mikrav li ki barabim hayimadi. He redeems me in peace from all the people who are battling against me and from the rabbim who are against me. So how does this go ahead and mean that what Rashi says? Kabev layimas tefillas harabim layimas, and the feel of a rabbin is not rejected. Right? So I guess you see that what that keep a rabbin hoyimadi because what shehat hispali imi because I daven the rabbin with me and I daven with me. Tanya Namihocher of Nasan says, Kodesh Baruch Hu moyes b'tfilos shel rabbin. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't despise the tfilos of the rabbin. Shnemar hein kel kabev layimos. Right? Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't despise the many. That's when he redeems me my nefesh in peace. Anyone who's oisik in Torah, davens with the tzibur, there's no Beis Hamikdash anymore. So the avodah, like the Rambam says, is tefillah. Right? Torah avodim is chasadim. Malani alav kilu pida'ani li. I review it as that if they redeem me, right, and ulavanai and my children are being umas oilam from the umas what of the world. That's how Kodesh Baruch Hu views by someone who davens tefillah. Reish Lakish says this is another cheshivus of the rabbin. Anyone who has a base knesses in the city, when the nichta shom nespali doesn't go to the daven. Nikra shachin rais called the beard neighbor shnemar koyim Hashem al kol shechenai haroyim hagnoigim benachlo asher hinchalti esami Yisrael. Says Kodesh Baruch Hu says all my shechenai royim beard neighbors and noigim benachlo. Go ahead and I gave it, touch my nachla. I showed chalti assignment that I gave to my nation as Yisrael. That they touched all the nachla that I gave to Yisrael. Because it's galus to him and his children. Shnemar hineni night sham me'alad masam. They're going to be uprooted from the land. There's space Yehuda etesh mitaychem, and I'll root them to the house of Yehuda. So why is it considered nachla? So very geschmacka. The Marsha says that according to Gemara in Megillah Daf Chav Tes, that la'asad lavoi, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring the Bati Knesses and the Bati Midrashis in Bavel, that they're going to be Koiv in Eretz Yisrael. So even in Bavel, it's called Nachla. It's called the Nachla because eventually it's going to be what? In Eretz Yisrael. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan. Ika Sabi Bavel. Are there old people in Bavel? Are there old people in Bavel? Right? In other words, Tama, he was wondering, how could Omar, Yirbu Yimechem Vimei Ala Dama Ksiv Mashma Ala Dama of Eretz Yisrael. Then you have what? Arichas Yomim. Allah b'chutz la'aretz, such as Babel loy. So how can there be old people in Babel? Must be some other reason. So keeping the Amrle Mikadme Machashke, since I heard they get up early to go daven Machashke and late, they knisted the base medrash for Shachris and Ma'ariv. That's what helps them to go ahead and have long life. Get up early, go late to the base Knesses, in order that your life should be extended. It gives long life. What's the pasuk? Ashri Odam Shemei Ali, Lishkoit Al Dal Soisi, he waits by my delis, Yom Yom each day, Lishma Mezuzas, Pesachoi, I get Basrei, Ki Moisei Matzachayim. So if you get up, go to the Medrash, literally to stay by the Pesach and watch the doorway, therefore what you'll be fine, you'll find life. Person should go in 2 doors to the base Knesset. Everyone what happens to the base Medrash doesn't have 2 doors? What does that mean, 2 doors? It says Ela Ema Shir Shnei Pesachim. You should enter the base Medrash the shir of 2 Pesachim. So let's say a tefach is 1 shir. So 2 tefachim, 2 Pesachim would be 8 tefachim. But you should go in what 8 tefachim. That if you're going to stand by the door, it looks like you're ready. You just want to go out. You want to go out. So therefore, by going in, it says you want to stay. Conversely, the box says over here that if you go ahead and you shouldn't daven quickly when you come to Beis Knesses, but you should sit a little bit and have Yishuv Das, and it's because it's not right to go ahead and start right away. So wait the time it says for 2 doors. And finally, we have Rabbi Yomi that says that if you're mochim kavua, it's kavias, then we're not worried about you running out. So then if you have a kavias, then what this halacha would not apply. This is a important halacha. So if you have a seat next to the door, don't feel bad. Because in fact, because it's mochim kavias, if there's a kavias there, it's okay. Right. This is the Lashon of Shulchan Aruch and Siman Tzadik. Yichnei shir shnei pesachim, person is going back to Yispalo. She should walk into Yesh Mefarshim shir shnei pesachim, Hainu ches tefachim, 8 tefachim, Yechonis, Lefnim, Shlo Yeshev Eitz Pesach. You should not sit by the Pesach. Shnei Kimasu Yeshivas Beis HaKnesses. It appears like it's a load sitting in the Beis Knesses. If he's there, Yesh Mefarshim Yuchad Eitz Pesach, we have a place that is why it's Yuchad there. So again, in Kaklum, there's no one's concerned that it seems like why it's a Masui, because that's your Makom Kavua. Yesh Mefarshim Shatam B'Fneisha Mabit L'Chutz. Then you may be looking outside if you're near the door, and you're not able to have proper kavanah. If he's there, it may not be pesuch l'shus rabim. If the base medrash is not open to l'shus rabim, emekach klum. So many of us shuls that they have a door and you can't see out the door to stare you. Yesh mefarshim play yimayel l'spala miyad k'shei nichnas. You shouldn't start met right away. This was the Bach. Yisha shir shnei pesachim. Wait that amount from nachon l'achos shkol prushim. Says the Shulchan Aruch should be chayish for all these 3 pshatim. Okay, so very very nice. Okay, continues the Gemara. Al zois yispalel kol al zois yispalel. What's the lashon of the pasuk? Al zois yispalel kol chasid eilecha leis mitzoi. This is every chasid, a person who is a pious guy. He should go ahead at the eis mitzoi. In the moment that he finds what Hashem is giving him, he should daven. Now, what does it mean? I'm Eis Mitzay. What is he finding over here? It says over he's finding something. There's a few pshatim in Eis Mitzay that a person should daven. What is that? So I'm Reb Chanina. LeEis Mitzay Zaisha. Right? Okay, there's 5 pshatim over here. One, that first that he gets a good wife. Shneimar Matzisha Machatov. So if you find a good wife, daven. In my Rava, Kinas Divinish, it's a very famous Gemara in Eretz Yisrael when a person get married. They would say the following: Matzah or Maitza. They would say, did you past tense, or Maitza or present tense? Matzah d'chsiv Matzah Isha Matzah Toy v'Yafik Ratzei Me Hashem. That Matzah, it says that you found a good wife. You have favor from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Or Maitza d'chsiv, what is this? Maitza was Maitza Dimari Matzah Isha. I found Maitza. There's nothing worse than death than a bad wife. So I think I heard from Hashem the Gra that matzah is past tense. So matzah isha matzah toiv. So a person tends, if it's I don't remember. I don't remember. If I remember the future share, I'll tell you. I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, anyway, so matzah matzah, that's what David asked. I do remember there's a question. Chavetz Chaim says, "Isn't lashon hara?" You go ask a person. No, you got a good wife. You didn't get a good wife. You say, what's the pshat over here? Even it's derech remes. So matzah matzah. The guy's going to say matzah. It's derech remes. V'yasa gam al ishtay kroiva. And Cain Ketza Shalu Beshiva Shelazu. How can he possibly ask this question? And how can the person answer it? The theory is the goodness sheet is the Rambam. The Rambam says it's already known to three, and the kavan is not to publicize, then mutal is sapra. You'd be permitted to go and say. So in a situation that three people know about it, and you're not going to publicize it, you can see that's the situation where you ask matzah or matzah. So that's what's happening over here. That he would ask matzah or matzah in that scenario. So la'esa matzah, another pshat is Torah. Then you need to Torah to learn. Shnema ki matzah matzah chayim. Those who find Torah finds life. A third pshat. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar la'es mitzvah zu misa. Daven for an easy misa. Shnema la mavis teitzos. That mavis has mavis teitzos. That many teitzos of misa coming about. The Gemara tells us a gematria tanya namiyachi. 903 different ways of dying. Shenemar, Lamavis Teitzais, and the Teitzais begematria is Hachi Havi. If you do the gematria, you have two tufs is 800, Tzadik is 9890. You have two sixes is 12 is 902, and you have an aleph is 903. Kasha Shivakula. What's the most difficult of the deaths is askara. It's a terrible disease. It starts on top of your mouth and works its way down. And Nicha Shevekulam is Neshika. It's the mis of Neshika, as we're familiar with the tzaddikim of Miriam and Moshe and Aaron. Askra demayid kechizra b'gvava da'amra. Askra is like if you take a branch of thorns and you put them in a clump of wool and you yank it out, it's not possible to yank it out without the wool coming out. It's like ropes that you force through a tight hole, right? And Rashi brings fascinating Rashi. In the ocean, there's places where you cannot go over them because of metal. The Rashash brings it must be like a magnetic force. So therefore, you need to go in a wooden ship. You would connect the wood of the ship, the boards of the ship. You go ahead and the toichim will say b'doichik. So you put these in and you pull it out and you really tighten the holes. That's the misa of askar. It's similar to that being pulled out, either like a thorn through wool or there's wood being pulled through the hole to create the ship together. Nishika, what's nishika? Damya kimishcha b'nisei mechel. It's like you remove a hair from milk. That's easy as that. Rabbi Yochanan says another pshat in Mitzay. A person should daven that for a proper kfura, right? In other words, daven at the right. You should get buried quickly, or that you should find the body for burial. I guess it's a you need. They say you need luck. You need mazel to live. You need mazel to die. Amar Rabbi Shila Hainu Dam Yinchi. That's what people would say. Hainu Dam Yinchi. Right, the boy inish rachmei afilu ad zibula besrais shlama. You should daven until mamish to the last shovel of dirt is on the grave. Mazutra Amar leis mitzvah fifth pshad ze basic kisei. You should daven that you should have a basic kisei. That's again they lived in the play. Had to go out to the field. The basic kisei should be something that's found, dirt that you're able to dig up in those days. But b'zman hazel, you should be able to find it close to home. Interestingly enough, answer the Gemara. That concludes the Gemara. I'm a Rava, Hadam Mazutra, Adif Mikulam. All those opinions, whether it's Torah, Tzlura, Misa, the most chashiv was what was the basic kisei. Amli Rava l'Rafim Mar Papa. Leimulan man nahani mili ma'ayusa darmit mishmei derav. Say over something. Rav Chisda b'mili be'knista. Now, Rav Chisda was known to have said things in the Beis Knesses. So Rava said to Rafim Mar Papa, who was a Talmud Rav Chisda, tell us over some of the things that he said. So Amalei Hachi Am Rav Chisda. This is what he said. My dechsev oyev Hashem Shari Tzion. We call Mishnas Yaakov. Hakadosh Baruch Hu loves the Shar, the gates of Tzion, more than all the Mishnas Yaakov. What does that mean? Oyev Hashem Sha'orim Hamitziyonim Behalacha. Hakadosh Baruch Hu loves the gathering places where they conclude the halacha. Yosim b'batei knisiyas b'batei midrashos. So batei knisiyas is a place where you daven, batei midrashos they would learn, and the shar mitzvah halacha were places where they would conclude, they'd come together and the oisik and Torah come to halachic decisions. So that's Mishkanos Yaakov. Oy b'shem Sharit Tzion, we call Mishkanos Yaakov. The Sharit Tzion, the Shurim Mitzuyim Ba'alacha, Kodesh Baruch Hu finds one more chashiv than any particularly about the midrashos. V'hainu dam Rav Chia Barami Mishmei Deula Neimvula v'yom shechar Beis Hamikdash ein le Kodesh Baruch Hu ba'olamo ela arba amos shel halacha b'uvad. The Kodesh Baruch Hu only has, very famous Chazal, only has dalet amos of halacha. V'om Rabbi Meireish habegersinim b'goy beisa u'metzalinim be'knishta. I would go ahead, I'd learn at house, and I'd go daven in the Beis Knesset. So, Kiyun the Shamalei Pagmar Chia Bar Ami Mishmei Dula. Once I heard this unbelievable thing that he said, right? Miyom Shechar Beis Hamikdash Ein LeKodesh Baruch Hu Ela Arba Amos Shel Halacha B'Vad. Then what did I do? Lehag Metzilin Ela Hechid Dekarsim. I would only go ahead and daven where I would learn. I would only go ahead and daven where I learned. Ami Ravasi Afal Gav Dehavile Tilsa Bekanista B'Tveria. Even though there was 13 shuls in B'Tveria, Leimatzilin Ela Bein Amude Hechid Davikarsi. They would learn between the two pillars that they would learn. They would daven between the two places that they would learn. It's a very, very interesting halachas regarding this. So there's a pierce in the back, the Taisus of Ben Yoina, and he says that the Rabbanim in Sarfas in France, they held even the place where you learn, there's not going to be a minyan. You should daven there rather than go to a place that has a minyan. That's the in Sarfas, and that it says Oyev Hashem Sharit Tzion Mikol Mishkanos Yaakov, Mishkanos Yaakov of the Batei Knisiyos, even when they have a minyan. And however, the Tosafos Ben Yoina brings Pshat from Rabbeinu Moshe, Shedafka there's a minyan, then you should go to stay in the place you learn. But in Achinami, if staying where you learn, you won't have a minyan, and the place, the Beis Knesset, they do have a minyan, rather go to the place they have what? The Beis HaKnesset. Shulchan Aruch writes in Siman Tzaddik, such as Beis HaMedrash Kavua Kodesh Yosim Beis HaKnesset. A Beis HaMedrash Kavua where you learn is more Kodesh than a Beis HaKnesset, and the Umitzvah Spalo by Yosim Beis HaKnesset. Fuishe Spalo B'Yud provided the 10 people, so he passions like Rav Moshe. But feel in the Beis HaKnesset Sheish Roivam. Even there's multitude people in the Beis Knesset, see, it's 500 people there, but you're davening in the minyan. But the place you learn, davening in the minyan place you learn, even though it's not right, even not even though it's not right. Greater the person has whose nena from the workings of his hand than a person is Yerushalayim. The Ilugabi Yerushalayim Kasiv says Ashra Yish Yarias Hashem. Fortunate is the one who praises Hashem, right? Who fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Ilugabi Nene Miyagiyoi, regarding to a person's having hana from his own workings of his hands. Yagia kapecha kisaychel. It says that yagia v'pechel you'll eat. Ashrecha b'toivlach. It's ashrecha v'toivlach. What does it mean? Ashrecha b'olam hazeh v'toivlach lo'olam haba. It's good for you in this world and the next world. However, Gabi Yerushalayim toivlach like Sibbe. It doesn't say toivlach. Just says it'll be good for you. It doesn't say v'toivlach. It doesn't say that. So it's very hard to understand. So the guy's a hardworking guy. He doesn't come out to anybody else, and he's making a few bucks. Never takes charity from anybody. And Yerushalayim, guys, Mamash Tzaddik Yisrael is Yerushalayim, but he takes from people. You're going to tell me that person is bigger than, doesn't make any sense. So it says the Maharsha, you're right. It's not Pshat. Pshat is both people of Yerushalayim. The one has Yerushalayim and Yagia Kapecha, that he works and he doesn't have to come out to other people. He's greater than the one who comes out to other people. Why? Why is that? It's because the schusim that, when you come out to others, perhaps in the Shemayim, schusim will be taken away. Mashenkin, if you don't have to come out to others, then your schusim are intact. So it's good for you in this world and the next world. That's the way the Maharsha explains this idea. A person should live next to his Rabbi. The whole time that Shimi ben Gera, he was the person who cursed David when he went out from Avshalom. So I said that in the Vim, in Alachim, that he Kalani called him in the Metzes, he called me a naive, my avi, right, Seyach, Tzoyre, Tayeva, terrible kala. But he was Yerushalayim's Rebbe. And David says to him, B'Seif Yamav, then he died, he should kill Shimi, that Shimi should be Zeicha to get to the next world. Anyway, as long as Shimi was alive, like Nasa Shlomo Espas Paro, that the influence of Shimi that Paro that he did not marry Bas Paro. Says the Gemara, on one hand, you told me they should live near the Rebbe, but Tanya al Yidor, it says you shouldn't. It says, well, like Hasha, can the Kayafle, if he's subservient to the Rebbe and he's going to listen to him, he should live near him. But the Kayafle, if he's not subservient to the Rebbe, then he should not live there. Okay, so Amar Rav Huna bar Yehuda, Amar Rav Menachem, Amar Rav Ami, right? My dechsiv, ve'oizvei Hashem yichlo, those people who leave Hashem, they'll be eaten up. Now, how's it possible to leave Hashem? Hashem is all over the world. So what do you mean leaving Hashem? It's when the Torah is open, he leaves, he walks out of shul, Shas Kriyas HaTorah. Then that person might be yichlu. Right. Rabbi Avahu Nafik ben Gav Gava, he would go out between Aliyahs. And Boyra Papa, they Besukim, however, getting up between Besukim, Teku. Again, remember, they used to be Metargim every single pasuk. So they had time between each pasuk, not like us to zoom through it. So Teku, whether you're able to leave between pasuk to pasuk. Rasheshus Mehada Ape V'Garis. Rasheshus, when they would read the Torah, he would turn around and he would learn. So Amma, he said, "Anah b'di done," but we do what we do, v'inu b'di do, and they do what they do. So in other words, he's involved in Torah. He's involved in Torah, and he wasn't. I guess he didn't listen to Torah because he was Mabed Sedra for sure, and he would learn. So what's pshat? And what do we do over here? This is the Tosfos. How is it possible? Pshas Kriyas HaTorah, the Gemara in Sotah says that once you open a Sefer Torah, it's us to speak, even the Halacha. So how is it possible that Rasheshus would learn? It says, so it emphasizes a few pshat. One, this was said only if you learn out loud, right? It's that you shouldn't share the tzibah. But if you're quiet, then it's okay. The Rif said, when the Dafka, when there are 10 people, chutz mimenu, then you're able to learn. In other words, when they say you can't, you're among the 10. But if there are 10 people, then you're able to learn. And that's what Sheshus was speaking about, like there were 10 people. Another pshat Rif says that an adam that Tairasul Nasoi, Tosfos says that a person whose Torah is Kein Chayenu Baruch Yimenu, and then that person will be permitted. Okay, what does it say in Shulchan Aruch? L'dino Kosav Kima Shehiskol HaKorah L'Kos Sefer Torah. Once the Torah begins, As L'Saper Afilu B'Devei Torah Afilu Ben Gav L'Gava, even B'Din Gav L'Gava, you should not speak Devei Torah. It's very important. It's a very important halacha. Afilu Hishlam Hu Parsha, and even himself finished the Parsha, he shouldn't talk. V'yesh Matirim, there are those who permit Ligreis the Lachash to learn quietly. V'yesh Oimim Shem Yesh a Yud Tzaysi, the 10 people listening, Sefer Torah Mutal L'Saper. It's permitted. Again, this is what we just saw before. In Tosfos, v'yesh matir and lemisha terasam nasai, and then another pshat in Tosfos will be permitted. V'yesh matir and lemisha kodem sheniftach sefer Torah machzit panav. If you do it before the sefer Torah is open, and you turn away. Okay. To read shnayim mikra ve'echet targum b'shas kriyas Torah is permitted, right? However, by Parshas Zacha, Parshas Parah, which are in the Raisa, it's interesting. Shulchan Aruch means that Parah is the Raisa. Shetzarach l'chadin, you have to have kavana. Then you should not do this. Okay, so that's the halach. So Sheshus, okay, and it says the Gemara, Amar Rav Huna bar Yehuda, Amar Rav Ami, Lo'ilam yashlam odem parshisa im hatziva. A person should complete the Torah with the tzibur. A person should complete the Torah right with the tzibur before it's read in shul. He should complete it, right? And Shnayim mikra ve'echet targum, twice mikra ve'echet targum. Filu on the base, a teres v'divayin, which have no. Rashi says have no targum. Tosfos says they do have a targum Yerushalmi. Okay, chalapachas, you'd have to read it 3 times, even though you're repeating it the same thing. You're saying a teres divan, teres divan, teres divan. Shekola mashlim piroshim in ratziv. Anyone who's mashlim the pirish with the tzib, the parsha of the tzibur, marichem la'yom v'shnaisav. Shnei mikra echet targum that have a long life. But Bibi Rabbi Sava, Lashlominu, the Parshisa, the Kuli Shasim Maliyim. He wanted to go ahead and to do it on Erev Yom Kippur. So Tanale told him, Chiyabar Rav Midifti Ksiv, Yisim Es Nafsha Sechem, Betishel Chodesh, Be'erev. You should go ahead and be ma'ani yourself, paying yourself on the 9th day of the month. Do we go ahead and pay ourselves on the 9th day of Tishrei? Yom Kippur is on the 10th day of Tishrei. There's a mitzvah that anyone who eats on the 9th day, Malav Akasa, the Torah considers it Kilu Misana Tashiv, serious like what you did both. So how can you back if there's a mitzvah to go ahead and eat? How can you be busy to finish the parsha? Go ahead and eat. So that was the Musa that Rav Chia bar Midifti told Rabbi bar Abaya. So now, Saba, therefore, like the minu, we want to do it earlier. Amalei, Saba, Tanino, Bachli, Yagdim, Shlayach. You shouldn't do it too early, you shouldn't do it too late. Okay? So when should you do it? Right? Says Taisus, Yashim Pavisha, Matzibah, Nira, the Chalash Shvua, Mekivin, the Maschil, and Likres, Aparsha, the whole week. I know, Minchas Shabbos, Veilach, at Shabbos Haba. You should finish it before the Mincha. That's what's mashma. Okay. Kidam Levi Shub and Levi Levineha, Shlumi Pashu Saichu, Imatziba, Shnaimikra, Vechatargim. Vizir, now a second Allah, he told him, Vizir Bivridim. Now, when you chef the chicken, any shchit, you have to cut the corner in the veshet. But they used to go ahead and they would, instead of salted chicken, they would broil it. So they would, there were veins around the neck. So he told them, listen, you want to get rid of all the blood, be sure to cut the veins around the neck. So Vizir Bivridim, this is only speaking by birds. Rabbi Yehuda, the time of Yehuda Omer, Yishchid es havridim, until you go ahead and you cut the vridim. So you should cut the vridim. The Hizir b'zakein, and be careful by a zakein. Sheshachach tamudu forgot his Torah, machmas einsai, because either he was sick, it's an honest happened, he was sick like Rabbi Yosef, Shachar Rabbi Yosef, the Chol Rabbi Yosef b'shachach tamudai. So therefore, be careful. B'zakein should forget his machmas einis daminan luchais v'shivei luchas menuchas barim. Not only are the luchais in the aram, but even the shivei luchas are there. And a person, a zaken who's old and his Torah is he lost it, is a shivei luchas. Amru Rabba lebaneha kishat chaytchem basar. When you go ahead and cut meat, al tachtu agav yad. Don't go ahead and cut it on top of your hand. Ikadiyam mishum sakana. It's sakana. You're going to cut your hand. The kadiyam mishum kilkul suda. The blood's going to go into the food, and it's going to make people disgusting. Al teshu al meet the aramis. Don't sit on the bed of a Armenian woman, meaning a shiksa. Don't pass by the back of the base knesses when the tziva is davening. What is it? Why? Ikad the amri like signu beloy kriya shema means don't go to sleep without kriya shema. So don't make yourself like a guy who doesn't say kriya shema. Another pshat like tinsu giyarta, don't marry a giyaris. Ikad the amri. Aramis mamish. Don't sit down on the bed of a mamish or of a goyita. The Rapapa also legabe Aramis and hoitzila mita. She took out of bed. Namaloi shave, sit down. And Amalei any yoshev actually take be as a mita. I'm not sitting down until you pick up the bed. So what did she do? Be as a mita. She picked up the bed and matzah shamtina. She found the baby that was dead, and she wanted to say that sit down, and she wanted to blame him for killing him. It's interesting to note that this Maisa is also in Psachim, Daf Kuf Yud Beis Amid Beis. And there it says a totally different thing. Not totally different, but it says he did sit down. It says what happened was he went to collect money. She owed him money. And he went to collect the chayiv all the time. She told him to sit down and pay it up. She sat down and said, look, you killed my child, and he had to run away. That's what the pup was a fugitive as a result of this Maisa. Right? He was a fugitive as a result of this Maisa. He was a fugitive. Okay. Says the Gemara weiter. V'al tavru b'achuri beis hakneses b'shor shetziv mispalim. Do not go past the beis knesses in the time where the tzibur is davening. Right? Do not go outside the Beis HaKnesses when the tzibur is davening. Messiah of Shub and Levi, it's right to Shub and Levi. Shub and Levi, it's also for a person to pass by outside the Beis Knesses, Shatzim Mispalim, because it seems like what? He's not going in. It seems like he's being parked the oil, he's being vast the Beis Knesses. So he's passing by, when the tzibur is davening, he's not going in. Someone by if that's the only door, then we say it. But if there's another door, it doesn't. People say that he's going in the other door. There's no problem. Another addendum, another waiver. So good, he's passing by this base Knesses, but if there's another base Knesses in town, so perhaps he's going to another base Knesses. He's not carrying a load, and not running. And he's not wearing tefillin. So if he's carrying a load, or he's wearing tefillin, or he is, or he's not running, he's walking. then in all those cases, then it would be, you don't have to worry. One of those things that he's not running, or it has tefillin on, or he's carrying a load, then you don't have to worry. Mishtabura writes in the name of Prima Godim that you should be machmer even a b'shas kriya shema b'suki d'zirma. And he also writes that bisman hazeh, where our base knesses they have many milyonim, so therefore it's not nageya, because we're going to say that what if people won't come to chayishim, they're going to say he's going to what to another minyan. Tanya, Rabbi Kiva, b'shlosh d'varim oyevaniyas ha-medayim. He likes the medians, the people from Madai. Three things they do well. They cut meat, they don't cut it in the hand, they cut it on the table. That's how we got into this. When they kiss, they only kiss on the hand. And when they give advice, they go to the field. In other words, they go to a place where people can't possibly hear what they're saying. What's the pasuk? You see, when Yaakov wanted to speak to Leah and Rachel about personal matters that you couldn't know, he called them out to the field. Tanya, three things I love about the Persians, right? What? Tznuyim b'achilasan. It's tznuyim in the way they eat. It's tznuyim in beis hakisei. The Persians have a beis hakisei that they have water. That's our beis hakisei is knisei Persian. It's tznuyim b'dav achron. It's tznuyim in their tashmish when they has to have marital relations. I need Savisin Mukdashi. Pasuk says in Yeshaya, I commanded those that my holy ones, that because Berachos, he commanded the Malachei Sharis to destroy the Beis, to come and destroy Bavel. I need Savisin Mukdashi. I commanded the Persians to come destroy Bavel. They're prepared for Gehenna. But why they're called Mukdashim is because they gave us reshus to go ahead and build the second Beis Hamikdash. So therefore they're called Mukdashim. And we'll stop over here.